So in this tutorial we're going to be looking at while loops. Now, what is a while loop and why do we use loops in the first place? Now, loops in programming, as you may know, are used to reiterate a block of code until a specific condition is met. You rarely ever find a loop that loops data until, well, forever really. I mean, you rarely find that with output, so you wouldn't echo out, let's say, hello a million times on a page or anything like that. Now in this example we're just going to be using a countdown from 1 to 10. So I want an easy way to count down numbers from 10 to 0. I want to count down. You can obviously count up, that's absolutely fine. You just have to rewrite your loop. I could, for example, say echo 10 and then append with the full stop, a break on, or I don't even need to do that actually, do I? Break on, and then I could come down and say echo 9 break. This is essentially what we want our program to do all the way down to 0. Oh, but we don't want it to. We don't want to have to write out echo because we might decide we want to count down from 100 to 0. So how do we do this? We do this with a while loop. Now the key word is while. The condition is inside rounded brackets, and our block is inside curly brackets. There is another way to write the while loop, which I'll show you at the end of this tutorial. But as long as this statement here evaluates to true, everything in this loop will execute. So this will echo out. Now, at the moment, if I was to run this program, this would be echoed for infinity because our while is always true. It's basically just written there as a boolean, true. So I'm going to get rid of this, and obviously I'm going to get rid of this because I don't want it to keep looping, and I'm going to give you a quick example of counting down from 10 to 0. The first thing we want to do is set our number that we're going to count down from. So we're counting down from 10. The next thing we want to do is say while the number, and remember our comparison operators, while the number is smaller than or equal to 0, so larger than or equal to 0. So if it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 0, then do something in here. So as long as this number here is greater than or equal to 0, we're going to do something in here. So it's basic logic. What we're going to do is we're going to echo out the number. I'm going to concatenate a break onto the end of that. So at the moment, while the number is greater than or equal to 0, we're echoing it out. So let's refresh. What's happened is we've crashed because it's basically just echoing 10 out. So what we want to do is we want to change this so we're decrementing the number each time. So eventually it will reach 0, and then this statement will be false. So when this reaches -1, the statement will be false. Therefore, it will not be run. The block will not be run. So all we simply do is learn as learned in other tutorials. Sorry. Number minus minus, so num minus minus is just going to decrement the value each time. This is the same as num equals num minus 1, but it's a lot easier to just write num minus minus. So now we refresh, and you see that we get 10 to 0, because what we've done is we've counted from 10, 9, the loop's still running as we come down, even to 3, 2, 1, 0. Now as we get to 0, we then go on to -1, but because at -1, when this value here equals -1, this won't be run. And we can demonstrate this by echoing out num at the end as well. So let's say we just say echo num. At the end of this, we'll get it will equal -1. You can see the -1 there, but obviously this is hidden because the block hasn't run at this point. So hopefully that makes sense. Now that's a basic example of how to use a while loop. So it's essentially a simple loop, and while this condition is true, what's in this block will run. Like I said, the other way to write this is basically taking out your curly brackets, you add a colon on here, and here you type end while, okay, with a semicolon at the end to run. So this will produce exactly the same result, so refresh. Okay, so that's done exactly the same thing. Now, for example, because this is dynamic, it's our loop, we can do whatever we want to this number and it will still take in the same condition. Let's say this is 30. So now what it will do is, instead of counting from 10, it will count from 30 down to 0. So that's an easy way of counting down. You'll find this useful in a variety of applications. At the moment it may seem pointless, but in a variety of other applications you'll think, oh yeah, I actually need a while loop to loop through these records and select out different names, for example, or ages of people. So they can be useful in that sense.